Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Bilco RPRS7SS1. This is a replacement stainless steel latch and handle assembly, and the manufacturer makes a generic design of a handle and latch body. They make variants of those in 2 different base materials and I think 3 different accommodations. So 2 different base materials would be one that would be ferrous based, zinc dichromate plated, and then there's a stainless steel version, which is the one here that you would use in those non-ferrous applications. If you had an aluminum lid, that's going to come with non-ferrous base, components. So as a result of this being basically either all stainless steel or non-ferrous components, or components that have been treated so that they can be classified as compatible with non-ferrous applications, that makes these really expensive. If you have a roof hatch and you do not have a stainless latch body or stainless components, don't buy this unless you just simply don't care about it being, substantially more expensive by a factor of 3 or more. So this would be used in a non-ferrous application. Let's do a visual tour, and as we go through, we will put the tape measure on the parts. That's the latch body. Okay, the same latch body is going to be used regardless of the variants. I had said 2 base materials and then 3 derivatives. The only thing that changes on those 3 is the length of the spindle. The length of the spindle changes because the thickness of the lid will change. There's 4 5/8, 5 5/8, and then 6 5/8. The RPRS7SS-1 is a 5 5/8 length. That would mean that you have a lid thickness of 2 inch. That would be an insulated lid. So this is both non-ferrous, but it's also an insulated sort of lid. And that 5 5/8 is really the overall length of the spindle. And if we were to gauge by that roll pin that's holding the spindle in over here and putting the tape measure just past that a little bit, we'd be able to see that, yeah, it'd be about 5 5/8 would be the length of that spindle. Okay, so back to the lock body. The overall length of the body itself is about 5 3/4 by about 2 3/4, and has a projection of about 1 5/8 or so. Common question is, what is the center to center of the screw holes? That is 5 inch by, and I think it's 2 inch. Right on. I've had people call and say that they have 4 1/2 inch. Those existed, no doubt. That is a much older size. If you have that and your latch body looks otherwise the same as this, I've recommended to people just simply re-drill or ovalize these holes out so that you can fit this unit down to where you have to go. So that's the latch body itself. We'll put the parts back into the bag as we go along. Now you have the exterior handle. The exterior handle, we know that it's exterior. It has the rubber gasket on here. Gives you the ability to padlock that closed from the outside. And then again, the spindle length is long enough to allow you to get through an insulated or a lid thickness that's 2 inch. A lot of people say, well, I don't know how thick the lid is. Well, just give me the longer one and I'll cut it. Okay, that'll work. It's easy enough to cut the material, I suppose, but then you've got to drill a hole through it for the roll pin to hold the other handle on. My suggestion is try to figure out what you need so you're not doing a lot of additional work. The key stock of the spindle, 0.312 by 0.312, or 313, so 5/16 is that size. Okay. You'll notice that there's a small gap here and a bigger, there's an area here that does not have another piece sitting on top of it. That's because that's the way it's designed, but to accommodate for that, they're going to give us fasteners that will allow us to handle that. You'll get a short head bolt and a standard bolt. So let's go through these. We'll need 4 bolts, obviously, for the lock body itself, and we indeed have 4 stainless hex cap, washer screws. Throw those back in. Those would go with the lock body. Then you're going to have the short head and the standard head bolt for the outside latch. We'll put that back in the bag. You're going to have the you're going to have the padlock bracket, and that's going to be mounted underneath the latch body itself. Right, and I'm going to show you some supporting documentation that will show you how that latch body has to go. So we'll wait and just show you the supporting documentation. Overall width of that bracket, it's obviously going to have the same center to center as 2-inch. 2 3/4, about 1 1/16. Overall height, about 2 11/16. So this will come down and allow you to padlock from the inside using the strike, okay, and the bracket here, the padlock bracket. So the other bracket will come down and you'll be able to bolt padlock that, and this lip is what the latch catches on. So the strike itself, which goes to the sidewall, about 2.5 by about 2 inch. Our padlock staple, about 2 7/8, about 1.5 inches. Overall projection looks like it's about 2 1/8. Oh, and then you're going to need, of course, the hex cap screws for installing that material onto the sidewall. They do list these washers, and the only area that those would really work in would be with these hex cap screws, but they're really not the best perfect size for those. We'll see if the installation instructions tells us a little better where to use those. And then there's only one part left, and that's the interior handle. Forgive me. The interior handle is held on with a roll pin that's partially seated into the unit. And there it is. And if you recall that hole in the spindle, about 4 1/4. Overall projection, about 1 3/4. You'll recall that hole in the spindle, and you'll drive that roll pin down through once you get the spindle inside of there to lock it in place. So that's all the parts. Let's switch to the screen view and take a closer look at the supporting documentation. Okay, so here's the item that we're looking at. We have some images listed down below showing the different components. A table showing the different part numbers, the thickness of the cover and the length of the shaft. Quick little way to be able to hop around and get to the other items that you may require. Now here's the supporting documentation right here. Instructions. Let's take a look at that. This shows just a typical zinc version. But you'll see how the padlock hasp installs underneath the lock body. Aha, that's where the washer goes. You're going to need a washer underneath the handle. Okay, well, let's see here now. Yeah, so these 3 washers are already installed. You won't need any washers there. I'm just looking through to see if there's any. Okay, so that shows clearly your padlock staple. The sidewall with the strike, they don't list here at all, but it'll be quite obvious there's only one way it can go on. Technical information, which that link is broken, we'll get that fixed. Now, yeah, there isn't going to be a better technical drawing showing the strike and the padlock hasp, but again, there's only one way those can go on, so the latch body engages. There's a link here below this video to the manufacturer's page where you can pull up not only all of the Bilco products that we sell, but also a link to the manufacturer's website, as well as a link to the full product catalog. We sell plenty of Bilco roof hatches, no doubt, but it's replacement parts that really sell most. It's very handy that Bilco will entertain requests for assistance when it comes to supporting their installed client base. by being able to provide you with part numbers of lifting mechanisms and hold open brackets and guide arms and gasketing and hinges and latches. Not every manufacturer is as agreeable as Bilco, and to them we say thank you. Let's wrap up this video on camera. Okay, in conclusion, there is no difference between this and the non-stainless steel version or the ferrous base. I've had people want to order these, and it's great. It's just, you know, incredibly increasing the cost. If you have a steel lid, which you likely do, there'd be no reason to have this latch body. You'd want just the RPRS7-1 would be the right part number. RPRS7-1 would give you the latch with a 5 5/8. RPRS7-1, you just drop the SS in the part number for stainless steel. If you have any questions on the RPRS7SS-1 latch or any other Bilco product, please feel free to reach out to us. A very common question that we get is, okay, where do we use this? Well, we know it's used in, you know, 2-inch lid, non-ferrous, but the factory doesn't really publish a bill of materials for all of their products. So sometimes it's literally giving them the information on what we're dealing with and then allowing the factory to tell us what part number. If you have a roof hatch and you're unsure about what you need, don't guess, especially when it comes to lifting mechanisms. The spring rate inside of there is completely designed and engineered to go along with the size of the lid and the weight of the lid. There may be and likely is a serial number on the sidewall. If you would produce that serial number, send us this serial number, photographs of the unit, the depth, the width, and then the composition of the lid, what it's made of. We'll be able to certainly work with the manufacturer to find out what parts go on that or went on that to get you the proper replacement parts. There's absolutely no need for any guesswork. Not having all the information simply slows down the process because we need to reach out to the manufacturer. But the upside is you get the parts engineered for the system. 20 feet up in the air on a ladder, you don't want to have the wrong spring rate on a lifting mechanism so that that door is not properly controlled. Again, any questions on the RPRS7SS-1 latch or any other Bilco product, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you.